Flat Earth, the vector fails. So we've been told that the reason why things fall is because the Earth is rising up. Now, I can't help seeing problems with this situation. For one thing, if we're in the momentum of the Earth, the clouds are in the momentum of the Earth, so the clouds aren't going to hug the Earth and all these kind of things. You can't feel the movement because you're moving with it, all that kind of narrative. Then, if I were holding this ball and I let go of it, then the ball should be moving in momentum with the Earth. Well, even whilst I'm holding onto it. So I'm holding onto the ball, right? Well, I'm moving up with the Earth, so is the ball. So if I let go of the ball, there's no force to decelerate the ball. The air's moving up with the Earth. So that's kind of creating a slipstream for the ball to stay where it is in that same momentum. So it should never have a reason to even touch the ground. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that space physics and stuff like. But I don't know. I'll go into that later and stuff. But well, no. Like yeah, it's like it's got to have a reason to go in a direction or whatever. Force and motion and all these kind of things we're hearing about and stuff. Which I agree with force and motion. But I also agree with stationary. So when something's on the ground, I see that as stationary. I don't see any force or motion as such. Maybe a force of being on the ground or whatever and stuff, but in the idea of the Earth moving up, it's not really working because, like I said, things would be in momentum, so you would be able to have that as an effect. You'd be able to prove that, but that doesn't happen, So, what else were we going to go on to? So the other contradictory thing is they say that the Earth's moving up at 22 mile an hour, like 1 g. So a g is like an acceleration. So that really, it's not really applicable in a sense and stuff like. So because it's not an acceleration, is it? It's a constant moving up. So when we look at things falling, we're seeing things fall faster than 22 mile an hour. Like terminal velocity for a skydiver when he's laid flat with his arms out is 120 mile an hour. But if he streamlines himself and right clothing and all these kind of things, they can reach up to speeds of like 310 miles an hour. And if the reason for things to fall is the Earth rising, then the Earth must be rising at least 310 mile an hour. And there's still air resistance, so it could go faster than that, really. So if the Earth rising, then that needs to be taken into account. You can't have things falling faster than the Earth rising. I mean, it just didn't work. It's completely out of balance with it. I suppose another aspect of things is I'll go into that space thing. So like in space, like the environment of there, I mean, that weightlessness, because that's what we say about the upward Earth thing is you don't have weight. Your weight is responsible of the ground moving up. So that's the force that creates your weight. So if I were in space, and if something pushed me, or I pushed off something, I'd carry on moving in that direction. You know what I mean? So you've got like this environment that they're kind of describing us to be in a way. I mean, it's kind of closely related in a sense because, if you do push off something, yeah, what I mean, you got friction and momentum that builds and all these kind of things and stuff. But in this weightless environment, it's contradictory to what we experience. We're not in a weightless environment. You know what I mean? My weight is my weight. It's like in a weightless environment. Obviously, you're not, but I don't know, I can't remember my point, but it's like, yeah, so if I were in space, I can throw a ball in any direction. Say it's that direction or that direction, anyway, right? And it's going to go in a straight line. Once I let go of it, it's not going to lose momentum. It's going to go in a straight line, and it's going to go where I threw it. So when we're on Earth, when I throw a ball, it it changes direction. You know what I mean? So if it changes direction, well, that's not the Earth changing direction. You know what I mean? It's like the Earth is like that's supposed to be coming up. You know what I mean? It's the ball. It's not doing the same physics as this weightless environment. So where we are on Earth, we do have that weight. You know what I mean? So that direction of change of the ball is a proof of that. You know what I mean? I should be able to throw a ball, and there should be ways of throwing it so you can see how the Earth meets it as it comes up. Like, so you'll be able to continuous have like a direction which is relevant to this weightless environment. You know what I mean? And if it carried on its directional angle, you know what I mean? It's like when you throw something and it starts to plummet straight down. So that's a problem. It's lost its directional momentum. So like in space, you'd never lose that. So in a weightless environment, you'd never lose it. So on a rising up Earth, and we're supposed to be weightless. Why are we losing that direction? Why does it suddenly start to come down? You know what I mean? It doesn't do it. So you're seeing something completely different to what that space narrative is. So there's something which pulls you down. When I go into torus field research, and well, I need to make a video about how more in depth of it and stuff like. But I've made some content of it previously and stuff, to give that explanation of why things go down and stuff like. But so you know what I mean? If it's in momentum of the Earth, then I should be able to throw it in a direction. If I threw it, I don't know. There'll be ways to prove it, but it's just not. It's not happening. So that's the other example. The lift. So if the Earth's rising at 310 mile an hour, it's kind of like fastest things I can find to be falling. You know what I mean? So that's how fast the Earth should be rising at least. Then like how much you weigh, right? So 310 mile an hour, that's responsible for my weight, right? So now if I get in lift and that lift was set to go up 310 miles further, mile per hour faster than the Earth, then would that double my weight? Or would I appear a lot heavier, you know? And also stuff like jumping. When you're in the lift, you can tell, you know what I mean? That movement is there and stuff like. Whereas like in reality, you don't get that. Like, look at that. Like, it has to be a gentle environment for life, you know what I mean, and stuff like. And this is another contradictory thing. It's like if a force of the Earth moving up is responsible for my weight, then that force should be equal on any object. So that force beneath me that I can feel between my feet and the ground, that strength of force should be felt on the feet of these chicks as well. But they're quite light. If you've ever held a chick, but you know what I mean. It's gonna like everything's got their own weight. It's not just one force pressing on everything. And it's like, it's there's more things I can't think what to say. You know what I mean? Imagine that, like, Earth's going up at 310 mile an hour, and this has to land on here, right? it's kind of like space station ISS maneuvers of, like, you know, docking one of capsules or whatever, and the amount of maths and precision it'd take. You know what I mean? Because it's got to land against the momentum of 310 mile an hour. You know what I mean? It's just, you don't see it because you know what I mean. The how it'd fly would be different. It'd be like flying upwards and just slowing down to catch onto something. You know what I mean? With so many things, it's completely contradictory. And you know, like the strength of its legs and all that kind of stuff. Like you think about the bird. If a bird lands on a branch, but the Earth's moving up at 310 mile an hour, then the amount of force that's in there, you know, it's it's not working. So definitely not for me anyway. But you know, if anybody does have anything more conclusive or something which can respond to like these points I've made, you know, I'll welcome in that kind of sense and stuff like. Um, but my video's gonna probably cut out, so I'll leave it at that. Nice one, cheers, thank you.